When reading about the history of education and school reform, I thought it very interesting that the current system that we have hasn't necessarily been around for hundreds of years. It has been reformed even in the last 30 to 50 years. And of course, that's based upon the first topic, the role of economic, political, and social forces on school reform. Economic forces, the first one that I can think of would be obviously people that had money early in the 20th century. If you had money, you had more opportunity, especially in those academies or more private schools that were privately funded and didn't have to necessarily answer to government or school boards or things like that. You could kind of go for what you wanted to and go for the basically what your money could buy. The political forces that played a role in the early 20th century were those school boards. Reading about the corrupt school government situations, the school boards that had ulterior motives to education instead of just the welfare of young students. And so that played a huge role on school reforming. The other thing that played a huge role was the location of schools, rural schools versus more urban schools. Those had huge impacts on the quality of education just because of the bulk of students that were in larger cities versus rural areas. And you might not get a good quality teacher. You might just need somebody that kind of fills the space. But it seemed like over time the government played a bigger and bigger role in education and in school systems in general. And of course that led to the No Child Left Behind Act that was passed by George W. Bush, mandating a certain level of criteria in schools, and that would give funding to schools that met a certain level of test scores, and it would withhold funding for the schools that didn't meet those test scores. I can see the problem on both sides of this, having test scores be the source for funding, for government funding. But I could also see the benefits to it. I think it's interesting that we went that way. Obviously, the big, I guess, division in the No Child Left Behind is that it was a government law or a government decision that was made, and in a two-party system, it's hard to come to a consensus that was the right way because it was chosen by one party. The parallels to today's economic, political, and social environment and education, like I said, it's been reformed fairly recently, but at the same time there's a lot of similarities to how schools are set up and the opportunities that it gives kids. For instance, before, if you were of a poor status, you didn't really have the opportunity to go to school, but now everyone has the opportunity to go to school and attend the same school. But it seems like status a lot of times makes up the quality of education that you receive just because of the emphasis of education that comes from the family.